The big surprise. It was a normal Tuesday morning. People all over Earth were doing their usual things. Kids went to school, grown-ups went to work, and everything seemed fine. In New York, a boy named Tim was eating his breakfast and watching cartoons. In Tokyo, a woman named Yuki was riding the train to her office job. In a small village in Africa, a farmer named HFY was checking his crops. But at exactly 9:00 a.m., something very strange happened. All of a sudden, every TV, computer, and phone screen in the world changed. The cartoons, news shows, and funny cat videos disappeared. Instead, everyone saw the same thing: a big green alien face. The alien looked weird. It had 3 eyes, no nose, and its skin was bumpy like a pickle. It opened its mouth and started to talk. "People of Earth," the alien said in a deep voice, "I am Zorgax, leader of the Galactic Empire. We have come to take over your planet. You have 1 hour to surrender. If you don't, we will destroy all humans." Then the alien face disappeared, and all the screens went black. For a few seconds, everything was quiet. Then, chaos. In New York, Tim dropped his spoon. Cereal spilled all over the floor. His mom ran into the room, looking scared. "Did you see that?" Tim asked. "Was it real?" His mom didn't know what to say. She grabbed her phone and tried to call Tim's dad, but all the phones were dead. In Tokyo, the train stopped suddenly. Yuki almost fell over. Everyone on the train was talking at once. Some people were crying. Others were trying to use their phones, but nothing worked. In Africa, HFY ran to his village. Everyone was outside, looking up at the sky. They could see something big and shiny way up high. It was an alien spaceship. All over the world, people were scared and confused. But in a secret room deep under the ground, things were different. This room was the hidden command center for Earth's leaders. They had a big plan, and they were ready to use it. The President of the United States looked at the other world leaders. "Well," she said, "looks like it's time to show these aliens what humans can do." She pressed a red button on the wall. Alarms started to go off. Back outside, more strange things began to happen. In the middle of New York City, the ground started to shake. People ran away as a huge metal tower came up from under the street. It was as tall as a skyscraper. The same thing happened in other cities. In Tokyo, a tower came up right in the middle of a busy street. In London, one popped up next to Big Ben. Even in HFY's small village, a tower appeared in the town square. These towers were all over the world, in big cities, small towns, and even in the middle of the ocean. As the towers rose up, they started to glow. A blue light spread from the top of each tower, forming a big bubble in the sky. Soon, the whole Earth was covered in a blue see-through shield. People were amazed. They had no idea Earth had this kind of technology. Up in space, the alien ships were getting closer. They could see Earth, but they didn't know about the shield. They thought it would be easy to attack. Zorgax, the alien leader, was on the biggest ship. He looked at Earth and laughed. "Humans are so weak," he said. "This will be too easy." But Zorgax was in for a big surprise. He didn't know that humans had been getting ready for this day for a long time. Back on Earth, in the secret underground room, the world leaders watched on a big screen as the alien ships got closer. "Are we ready?" asked the president. "Yes," said a scientist. "The shield is up. Our secret moon base is ready. And our space fleet is waiting for your order." The president nodded. She looked at a clock on the wall. It showed that 55 minutes had passed since the alien message. "Okay," she said, "let's show these aliens what humans can really do." She pressed another button. This time, nothing seemed to happen on Earth. But up on the moon, hidden doors began to open. The aliens were about to learn that they had made a very big mistake. Humans were not weak at all. They were ready, and they were waiting. The biggest surprise was yet to come. Earth's hidden weapon. The world was in chaos. People everywhere were scared about the alien threat. But deep underground, in a secret room, Earth's leaders were calm. They had a plan. This room was like nothing anyone had ever seen. It was huge, with walls covered in screens. In the middle was a big round table. Around it sat the leaders of every country on Earth. The President of the United States stood up. "Friends," she said, "it's time to show our true strength." She walked to a wall and pressed her hand on it. A hidden door opened, showing a small room. Inside was a single red button. "This," she said, "is what we've been working on for the last 50 years. Everyone in the room held their breath as she pressed the button. At first, nothing happened. Then, the ground started to shake. All over the world, people felt the shaking. In New York, Tim and his mom held on to each other. In Tokyo, Yuki grabbed a pole in the stop train. In Africa, Adebayo watched as birds flew away from the trees. Suddenly, the shaking stopped. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then, with a loud boom, something amazing happened. Giant metal towers started to rise from the ground. They came up in cities, in fields, in deserts, and even in the oceans. Each tower was as tall as a skyscraper and shiny like a mirror. People watched in awe. They had no idea these towers were hidden under their feet. In New York, a tower rose right in the middle of Times Square. Tim and his mom ran outside to see it. "Wow!" Tim shouted. "It's so cool." In Tokyo, a tower came up next to the train tracks. Yuki and the other passengers pressed their faces against the windows, amazed at what they saw. In Adebayo's village, a tower appeared in the town square. Everyone gathered around it, touching its smooth metal surface. But the towers weren't just for show. They had a very important job. As the last tower finished rising, they all started to glow. A blue light spread from the top of each one, forming a giant bubble in the sky. Soon, the whole Earth was covered in a see-through blue shield. In the underground room, the world leaders watched on the big screens. They could see the shield forming around the Earth. "It's working," shouted a scientist. "The cosmic shield is up." The president smiled. "Now for phase 2, she said. She pressed another button. This time, something happened on the moon. Hidden doors on the moon's surface began to open. Out of these doors came hundreds of spaceships. They were Earth's secret space fleet. Each ship was sleek and silver, shaped like an arrow. They lined up in front of the moon, ready for battle. Back on Earth, people could see tiny silver dots in the sky. They were Earth's ships, visible even in daylight. In New York, Tim pointed at the sky. "Look, Mom," he shouted. "We have spaceships." In Tokyo, people in the train cheered as they saw the ships through the windows. In Africa, Adebayo and his friends danced with joy. "We are strong," they sang. "We can fight the aliens." The alien ships were getting closer to Earth. They didn't know about the shield or the hidden fleet. They thought attacking Earth would be easy. Zorgax, the alien leader, laughed as he looked at Earth through his ship's window. "Get ready to fire all weapons," he ordered. But he was in for a big surprise. As the alien ships got close to Earth, they hit the blue shield. Their weapons couldn't get through. The aliens fired again and again, but nothing worked. Zorgax couldn't believe his eyes. "What is this?" he yelled. "How can they have such strong defenses?" Then he saw Earth's space fleet coming towards his ships. His 3 eyes opened wide in shock. "Impossible," he shouted. "They're not supposed to have spaceships." In the underground room on Earth, the world leaders watched the alien ships struggling against the shield. "Should we attack?" asked one of the generals. The president thought for a moment. "No," she said. "Let's wait. Let them see how strong we really are." She turned to the others. "For years, we kept this a secret. We knew this day might come. Now, The whole world knows we're ready to defend our planet. On the screens, they could see people all over Earth. People were no longer afraid. They were cheering, hugging each other, and waving at the sky. The president smiled. "We've shown the aliens our strength," she said. "Now, let's see what they do next." Everyone in the room nodded. They knew this was just the beginning. The real test was yet to come. But for now, Earth had surprised the aliens. Humanity had shown it was ready and waiting. The next move belonged to the aliens, and everyone on Earth was ready for whatever might happen next. Space battle begins. The sky was full of lights. Earth's blue shield glowed brightly. The alien ships looked like angry red stars, and Earth's secret fleet shined like silver arrows. Everyone on Earth was watching the sky. In New York, Tim and his mom stood on their roof. In Tokyo, Yuki and other people got out of the train to look up. In Africa, Adebayo and his whole village gathered in the fields. Up in space, things were getting tense. Zorgax, the alien leader, was very angry. His plan to scare humans wasn't working. "How dare they fight back?" he shouted. His crew looked worried. Zorgax pointed at Earth. "Attack with everything we have," he ordered. The alien ships moved closer. They fired all their weapons at once. Red beams, green lasers, and purple energy balls flew towards Earth. But when they hit the blue shield, something amazing happened. The shield didn't just stop the attacks, it absorbed them. The shield glowed brighter with each hit, growing stronger instead of weaker. On Earth, people cheered as they watched. The alien weapons looked like fireworks hitting the shield. In the secret underground room, Earth's leaders watched on big screens. The president smiled. "It's working perfectly," she said. "Now it's our turn." She picked up a special phone. "Captain Sarah, you're clear to engage," she said. Up in space, Captain Sarah sat in the biggest Earth ship. She was young, but very smart. "Roger that, Madam President," she said. She turned to her crew. "All right, team, let's show these aliens what we can do." Earth's ships started to move. They spread out, surrounding the alien fleet. The aliens were so busy shooting at the shield, they didn't notice at first. Captain Sarah pressed a button. "All ships, activate sonic disruptors," she ordered. Suddenly, all of Earth's ships started to hum. The hum got louder and louder. It turned into a high-pitched sound that humans couldn't hear. But the aliens could hear it, and it hurt. Zorgax and his alien crew covered their ears. "What is that horrible noise?" Zorgax yelled, but no one could answer him. They were all too busy trying to block out the sound. The alien ships started to shake. Their weapons stopped working. Some ships started to drift away, out of control. On Earth, people couldn't hear anything, but they could see what was happening. The alien ships were moving in weird ways, like they were dancing badly. Tim pointed at the sky. "Look, Mom, we're winning," he shouted. His mom hugged him tight, smiling. In Tokyo, Yuki and her friends clapped and cheered. "Go Earth," they shouted in Japanese. In Africa, Adebayo and his village did a happy dance. "Our ships are the best," they sang. Back in space, Captain Sarah wasn't done yet. "Phase 2, she said to her crew. "Activate the light beams." Every Earth ship turned on a super bright light. These lights were so strong, they could be seen from Earth. The sky lit up like it was daytime. The alien ships, already confused by the sound, were now blinded by the light. They couldn't see where to shoot or where to fly. Some alien ships crashed into each other. Others flew away, trying to escape the light and sound. It was chaos for the aliens. Zorgax was furious. "How is this possible?" he screamed. "Humans are supposed to be weak." He tried to order his ships to keep fighting, but with the noise and the light, no one could hear or see him. His great alien fleet was falling apart. On Earth, people were amazed. They had no idea their secret fleet was so powerful. In the underground room, the world leaders watched in awe. "Should we finish them off?" a general asked the president. The president thought for a moment. "No," she said. "Let's show them we're strong, but also kind." "Captain Sarah," she said into the phone, "cease attack. Let's give them a chance to retreat." Captain Sarah nodded. "Yes, Madam President." She turned to her crew. "Turn off sonic disruptors and light beams, but stay alert." The noise and light stopped. The alien ships, finally free from the attack, started to regroup. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. Zorgax, still dizzy from the noise, looked at Earth's fleet. For the first time, he felt scared. "These humans," he said quietly, "they're not what we thought they were." He looked at his battered ships and made a decision. "All ships," he said, "prepare tow." But before he could finish, something unexpected happened. A new voice came over all the radios, both alien and human. It was a voice no one had ever heard before. "Attention Earth and Galactic Empire fleets," the voice said. "This is the Intergalactic Peacekeeping Force. Cease all hostilities immediately. We need to talk." Everyone, human and alien alike, was shocked. The space battle had taken an unexpected turn, and the biggest surprise was yet to come. Humans fight back. The space around Earth was quiet. Everyone was surprised by the message from the Intergalactic Peacekeeping Force, but the peace didn't last long. Zorgax, the alien leader, got angry again. "No one tells me what to do," he shouted. He turned to his crew. "Ignore that message. Attack the humans now." The alien ships started moving towards Earth again. They were damaged, but still dangerous. In the biggest Earth ship, Captain Sarah saw what was happening. She called the president. "Ma'am, the aliens are attacking again," she said. The president's face looked serious on the video screen. "Then we have no choice," she said. "Captain Sarah, you have permission to fight back. Show them what humans can really do." Captain Sarah nodded. She turned to her crew. "All right, everyone, this is it. Let's show these aliens why you don't mess with Earth." She pressed a big red button. Alarms started ringing in all the Earth ships. Everyone got ready for the big fight. On Earth, people could see the alien ships moving again. They were worried, but also excited to see what would happen. In New York, Tim jumped up and down. "Look, Mom, our ships are doing something." In Tokyo, Yuki and her friends held hands. "Go Earth," they shouted. In Africa, Adebayo and his village watched the sky. "Our brave space warriors will win," they said. Up in space, the Earth ships started to change. Parts of the ships moved and transformed. Soon, they didn't look like normal spaceships anymore. Some ships grew big metal arms. Others opened up to show huge cannons. A few turned into giant shields to protect the other ships. Zorgax saw this and laughed. "Look at their silly toys," he said. "Fire all weapons." The alien ships shot everything they had at Earth's fleet, but they were in for a big surprise. The Earth ships with shield modes moved in front. They caught all the alien attacks like they were catching balls. Then, the shields glowed and sent the attacks right back at the alien ships. Zorgax's eyes went wide. "How did they do that?" he yelled. But Earth's ships weren't done. The ones with metal arms reached out and grabbed nearby alien ships. They spun around and threw the alien ships far away, like a kid throwing a toy. Other Earth ships used their new cannons. But these weren't normal weapons. They shot out a special foam that covered the alien ships. The foam hardened quickly, stopping the alien ships from moving or using their weapons. Captain Sarah smiled as she watched. "Great job, everyone," she said to her crew. "Now, let's take out their leader." She pointed at Zorgax's big ship. "All ships, focus on the main alien ship," she ordered. All the Earth ships turned towards Zorgax's ship. It was much bigger than the others, but Earth's fleet was ready. The ships with arms linked together, making a giant metal fist in space. The shield ships moved in front of it, and the cannon ships got ready behind them. Zorgax saw what was happening. For the first time, he looked scared. "No, wait," he shouted. But it was too late. The giant fist of Earth ships, protected by the shields, flew straight at Zorgax's ship. At the last second, the shields opened up. The fist hit Zorgax's ship hard, sending it spinning. Then the cannon ships fired. But instead of foam, they shot a special net. The net wrapped around Zorgax's ship, trapping it. Zorgax and his crew were stuck. They couldn't move their ship or use any weapons. They could only float in space, watching as Earth's fleet surrounded them. On Earth, everyone was cheering. They could see that the humans had won. In New York, Tim and his mom hugged each other. "We did it," Tim shouted. In Tokyo, Yuki and her friends danced in the street. "Earth is the best," they sang. In Africa, Adebayo and his village had a big celebration. "Our warriors in space are heroes," they said. In the underground room, the world leaders clapped and cheered. The president smiled. "Well done, Captain Sarah," she said into the phone. "Bring our new friends in for a talk." Captain Sarah nodded. "With pleasure, Madam President," she said. She looked at Zorgax's trapped ship. "I think it's time we had a chat with these aliens." As Earth's ships moved in to capture Zorgax and his crew, a new message came through. It was the Intergalactic Peacekeeping Force again. "Impressive display, humans," the voice said. "We'll be arriving shortly. It seems we have much to discuss." Captain Sarah looked at her crew. They all knew this was just the beginning. Earth had proven it could defend itself. But now, they were about to meet even more aliens. The big question was, would these new aliens be friends or enemies? Whatever happened next, Earth was ready for anything. A big mistake. The space around Earth was quiet again. Earth's ships had won the battle. Zorgax and his alien crew were trapped in their big ship, caught in a special net. Captain Sarah was about to bring the aliens to Earth when something strange happened. A new spaceship appeared out of nowhere. It was huge, shiny, and shaped like a star. "Attention, Earth and Galactic Empire fleets," a voice said from the new ship. "This is Admiral Zex of the Intergalactic Peacekeeping Force. We're coming aboard." Everyone watched as a small ship flew from the star-shaped ship to Zorgax's trapped ship. Then it flew to Captain Sarah's ship. In New York, Tim and his mom saw the new ship on TV. "Wow," Tim said. "It's so big." In Tokyo, Yuki and her friends took pictures of the sky. "This is amazing," Yuki said. In Africa, Adebayo and his village gathered around a radio. "More aliens?" Adebayo asked. "I hope they're friendly." On Captain Sarah's ship, a door opened. In walked 3 aliens. They looked very different from Zorgax. They were tall, had blue skin, and 4 arms each. One alien stepped forward. "I am Admiral Zex," he said. "We need to talk." Captain Sarah nodded. "Of course," she said. "But first, can you tell us why Zorgax attacked us?" Admiral Zex looked uncomfortable. "Well," he said, "that's why we're here. There's been a big mistake." Just then, Zorgax appeared on a big screen. He looked angry. "Mistake?" he yelled. "What mistake? I was told to attack this planet." Admiral Zex sighed. "Yes, about that," he started to say. But before he could finish, another alien appeared on the screen. This one looked like Zorgax, but older. "Son," the new alien shouted. "What have you done?" Everyone was surprised. Zorgax looked shocked. "Father," he said, "what are you doing here?" Zorgax's father looked angry. "Fixing your mess," he said. "You attacked the wrong planet." The room was quiet. Captain Sarah looked confused. "Wrong planet?" she asked. Admiral Zex nodded. "Yes," he said. "Let me explain." He pushed a button, and a map of space appeared. "See, Zorgax was supposed to attack this planet," he said, pointing to a small green dot. "It's called Ursh, But he attacked this planet instead, he said, pointing to a blue dot. Your planet, Earth. Everyone was shocked. Zorgax looked embarrassed. But, he stammered. They sound the same. Zorgax's father shook his head. This is why you should have paid attention in space geography class, he said. Captain Sarah tried not to laugh. So, she said, this whole attack was just a spelling mistake. Admiral Zex nodded. Yes, he said. Hirsch is a planet of aggressive creatures that threaten the peace of the galaxy. We asked the Galactic Empire to stop them. But Zorgax here, he looked at Zorgax, who was trying to hide behind his chair, got confused. On Earth, people were starting to hear about the mistake. Some were angry, but many thought it was funny. In New York, Tim was laughing. They attacked us because of a typo, he said. His mom couldn't believe it. In Tokyo, Yuki and her friends were making jokes. Maybe we should change our planet's name to Urath, Yuki said. Everyone laughed. In Africa, Adebayo's village was having a party. We scared them so much, they're making up silly excuses, Adebayo said, dancing. Back on the ship, Zorgax was trying to explain. But Earth looked so weak, he said. How was I supposed to know they had all these cool weapons? Captain Sarah smiled. Never judge a book by its cover, she said. Or a planet by its look, I guess. Admiral Zex turned to Captain Sarah. We're very sorry for this mistake, he said. The Galactic Empire will pay for any damages, and we'd like to invite Earth to join the intergalactic community. Captain Sarah's eyes went wide. Join the intergalactic community? She asked. You mean we get to visit other planets and meet more aliens? Admiral Zex nodded. Yes, he said. Your planet has shown great strength and cleverness. We'd be honored to have you join us. Captain Sarah grinned. I'll have to ask our leaders, she said. But I think they'll say yes. As they talked about the future, Zorgax sat in a corner, looking sad. His father was still yelling at him on the screen. Just wait until your mother hears about this, Zorgax's father said. You'll be grounded for 100 years. Zorgax sighed. He had made a big mistake, and now he was in big trouble. But thanks to his mistake, Earth was about to become part of something much bigger than anyone had ever imagined. As the ships headed back to Earth, everyone was excited. A new adventure was about to begin, all because of one silly spelling mistake. Making friends. The big spaceship landed on Earth. It was in a large field, surrounded by trees. People from all over the world came to see it. They were excited, but also a little scared. Captain Sarah walked out of the ship first. Behind her came Admiral Zex and 2 other blue aliens. Last came Zorgax, looking very sorry. The President of Earth walked up to them. She smiled and held out her hand. Welcome to Earth, she said. Admiral Zex looked confused. He didn't know what to do with her hand. Captain Sarah whispered to him, It's how we say hello. You shake it. Admiral Zex carefully took the President's hand and shook it. His 4 arms made it a bit awkward, but he tried his best. Thank you for your welcome, Admiral Zex said. We are very sorry about the attack. It was a big mistake. The President nodded. We understand, she said. Now let's talk about becoming friends. They all went into a big tent that was set up nearby. Inside, there were leaders from many Earth countries. There were also TV cameras to show everything to people around the world. As they sat down, Zorgax spoke up. I want to say sorry, he said. I made a big mistake. I hope we can be friends. The Earth leaders looked at each other. Then the President smiled. We accept your apology, she said. Now let's learn about each other. Admiral Zex started to explain about the intergalactic community. He told them about many different alien races and planets. Earth leaders asked lots of questions. Outside the tent, people were watching on big screens. In New York, Tim and his mom were in Times Square with a huge crowd. Look, Mom, Tim said. That blue alien has 4 arms. Cool. In Tokyo, Yuki and her friends were at a big viewing party. I wonder if they like sushi, Yuki said. Everyone laughed. In Africa, Adebayo and his village gathered around a big radio. They sound friendly, Adebayo said. Maybe they'll visit our village someday. Back in the tent, things were going well. The Earth leaders were excited about joining the intergalactic community. But they had one question. What about Ursh? The president asked. The planet Zorgax was supposed to attack. Admiral Zex looked serious. Ah yes, Ursh, he said. They are still a problem. They keep attacking other planets. Zorgax, who had been quiet, suddenly had an idea. What if Earth helps us? He said. They beat us. Maybe they can beat Ursh too. Everyone looked surprised. It was a good idea. The president thought for a moment. We could help, she said. But first, we want to learn more about space and make friends with other aliens. Admiral Zex nodded. Of course, he said. We can start with a tour of our planets. Would you like that? The Earth leaders got very excited. They all started talking at once about who would go on the tour. Just then, one of the other blue aliens tapped Admiral Zex on the shoulder. He whispered something in his ear. Admiral Zex's eyes got big. Oh, he said. I almost forgot. We brought gifts. Everyone got quiet. What kind of gifts would aliens bring? Admiral Zex clapped his hands. All four of them. Some robot helpers came in, carrying big boxes. First, Admiral Zex said, for the young ones of Earth. He opened a box. Inside were strange-looking toys. They floated in the air and changed colors. On the screens outside, kids got very excited. Tim in New York, Yuki in Tokyo, and Adebayo in Africa all wished they could have one of those cool toys. Next, Admiral Zex said, for the adults. He opened another box. Inside were small devices. These can translate any language in the galaxy, he explained. The Earth leaders were amazed. This would make talking to aliens much easier. Last, Admiral Zex turned to Captain Sarah. And for you, he said, a special gift. He gave her a small box. Captain Sarah opened it. Inside was a shiny badge. This makes you an honorary member of the Intergalactic Peacekeeping Force, Admiral Zex said. Captain Sarah was so happy, she gave Admiral Zex a big hug. He looked surprised, but then hugged her back with all four arms. Everyone laughed and clapped. It was a happy moment. As the day ended, people all over Earth felt good. They had made new friends from far away in space. They were going to see new worlds and learn amazing things. Even Zorgax was smiling. His big mistake had turned into something wonderful. He was no longer an enemy. He was Earth's first alien friend. The president stood up. Let's have a party, she said, to celebrate our new friendship. Everyone cheered, humans and aliens together, ready to start a new adventure. The party was just the beginning of an exciting new chapter for Earth. Earth joined Space Club. 1 year had passed since the aliens first came to Earth. It was a big day. Earth was finally joining the intergalactic community, or as everyone called it, the Space Club. The ceremony was happening in a huge spaceship above Earth. It was so big that it looked like a floating city. People from all over Earth were there, along with aliens from many planets. Tim from New York was there with his mom. Yuki from Tokyo came with her friends. Adebayo and some people from his village in Africa were there too. They all wore special spacesuits that let them breathe in the ship. Wow, Tim said, looking at all the aliens. They come in so many colors. Yuki nodded. And shapes too, she said. Look at that one with 6 legs. Adebayo was talking to a friendly alien that looked like a big plant. In my village, we grow crops, he told the alien. What do you grow on your planet? The plant alien made a sound like leaves rustling. We grow starlight, it said. Adebayo's eyes went wide with wonder. At the front of the big room, Captain Sarah stood with Admiral Zex. They had become good friends over the past year. Captain Sarah now wore the badge of the Intergalactic Peacekeeping Force. "Are you ready?" Admiral Zex asked. Captain Sarah smiled. "Earth has been ready for this for a long time," she said. Suddenly, the room got quiet. A group of important-looking aliens walked in. They wore shiny robes and had serious faces. These were the leaders of the Space Club. The President of Earth stepped forward to meet them. She carried a special book. It was Earth's application to join the Space Club. One of the alien leaders, who looked like a big blue crystal, spoke. Its voice sounded like bells ringing. "Earth," it said, "you have shown great courage and kindness. You turned an enemy into a friend. You have learned much about space in a short time. Are you ready to join our community?" The President nodded. "We are ready," she said. She held out the book. The crystal alien took the book. It glowed for a moment, then disappeared with a small pop. "It is done," the crystal alien said. "Earth is now part of the intergalactic community." Everyone in the room cheered. Humans hugged aliens. Aliens hugged humans. Some aliens that were made of gas just swirled around happily. Tim jumped up and down. "We did it," he shouted. Yuki and her friends started singing a song they had made up about space friendship. Adebayo and the plant alien did a funny dance together, waving their arms and leaves in the air. Then something amazing happened. The walls of the spaceship became see-through. Everyone could see Earth below them, and the stars all around. "Wow," Tim whispered. "Our planet looks so beautiful from up here." "And so small," Yuki said. "We're just a little part of this big universe." Adebayo nodded. "But now we have so many new friends to explore it with," he said. Captain Sarah and Admiral Zex walked to the front of the room. "Attention everyone," Captain Sarah said. "We have a surprise for you all." Admiral Zex clapped his 4 hands. A big screen appeared in the air. "As a welcome gift to Earth," he said, "we're going to show you something special." The screen lit up. It showed a strange planet. It had purple oceans and green clouds. 3 suns shined in its sky. "This," Admiral Zex said, "is going to be the first planet Earth visits as part of the Space Club. You'll go there next month." Everyone got very excited. Humans and aliens started talking about what they might find on the new planet. "I bet they have awesome games there," Tim said. "Maybe they have music we've never heard before," Yuki said. "I wonder what kind of food they eat," Adebayo said, rubbing his tummy. As everyone talked, the President of Earth and the crystal alien leader watched with smiles. "Your people seem very happy," the crystal alien said. The President nodded. "We've always dreamed of this," she said. "To know we're not alone, to have friends among the stars. It's like a dream come true." The crystal alien made a sound like wind chimes. "You will be a wonderful addition to our community," it said. "You have much to learn, but also much to teach us." As the party went on, Earth glowed blue and green below them. It looked peaceful and beautiful. But now it wasn't alone. It was part of something much bigger. Earth had joined the Space Club. A new adventure was just beginning. The whole universe was waiting to be explored, and Earth was ready. Tim, Yuki, and Adebayo looked at each other. They knew that their lives, and the lives of everyone on Earth, would never be the same again, and they couldn't wait to see what would happen next.